Woo! Hey, all you jazz cats and jazz kittens, how you guys all doing tonight, man? Oh, dang! You're listening to Brian Ho and the Big Jazz Cat Rescue. No, I'm just kidding. Wrong show. If you guys are watching us, you're not watching Netflix. I'm gonna take this off for just a second. You're not watching Netflix and you're not watching Tiger King or Carol Baskin or anything, but you're listening to some live music. It's been a crazy last few months, crazy 2020. It was even crazy getting here today. I just will let you guys all know that on the way here, I was 4 miles from Mr. Tipple's and my back left tire blew out. And I sat on the road literally on 101, and CHP pushed me all the way off the freeway. And then AAA came about 47 minutes later and changed my tire. But in the meantime, I had to remove the organ, take out the plywood, take out the tire. Man, it was some fun stuff. But but we're here, and I just kept telling myself that this was just we're just so lucky to be playing tonight. And it's been such a long time, and we've been so snake bitten by this disease us musicians, and I mean everybody in general, but musicians for sure. We've lost so much work and just the camaraderie that we have on stage. So before I introduce the awesome musicians that are making me look good, I wanted to take this time to thank two sponsors that are helping us tonight. Mark Hughes is part of the Gardenia Society. He is, right now, he drove my car to Costco. And he's fixing the tire, he's dropping it off, and then later I'm going to go pick it up. But Mark is part of the Gardenia Society that is basically helping all these different bands, including us, like get money and funding to get, to do streams like this. So if you're on the internet, please do check him out so you can kind of like check out his website so you can see what he's doing. And of course, Jay at Mr. Tipple's, he is inviting, it's so great because he invited us to come to this wonderful space. And he's here with Roger, and they're both filming behind the scenes and typing away madly. So, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to both Jay and Mark because they've been tirelessly helping out. So these are just... Hey guys, just speak of the devils. That's Mark and Mariana who are here helping out. So I know we can't pan the things, but thank you so much. So I want to take this time to introduce the two world-class musicians who are on the stage right now. On the drums, we have Mr. Isaac Schwartz.
Thank you.
Yeah. And we also have Tony Peebles on the sax. What's up? The crowd goes mild. Yeah. Click, 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 click. Yeah. I'll go into it more later, but the three of us met at this session in Oakland called that is called the People's Session, and it was just a great session. I don't think I tell Tony and Isaac enough how much I really enjoyed it. Mainly, I enjoyed it just because of the camaraderie that it brought to the community. Like, there were people that weren't musicians who just wanted to be there for the music, who end up loving the music, and then of course the musicians that were there loved playing, and they also loved the vibe because it was so welcoming. And it's still going on today, which is a testament to how much people like it. Tony used to say, this is music for the people, and I like that, for the people and by the people, because if we're just playing for ourselves, that means that's only half the battle. So anyways, I won't talk too much, even though it's time to I was talking. But that first tune we played, I don't know if you could tell, but it was a blues with a bridge. It just seemed right to, after all these COVID blues, to play a blues. So that was a Wes Montgomery tune. Hopefully I feel a little ragged because of the tire and everything, but I think we'll slow down after this, after that tune. We're gonna play this tune called "Alone in the Morning." It's a great Joshua Redman bossa, and Isaac and Tony, feel free if you guys want to jump in and say a few words, or if you just want to play. Let's just smash it. All right, let's do it.
Let's destroy this beautiful pocket.
All right. Man, ragged.
Play with you guys again.
Yeah, man.
The whole world.
Yeah.
Yes, you as well. And you as well. It's also with you.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hit record, boys.
All right.
Yeah, it came out in 1994 or something.
Yeah, you know they're back,
We're covering
man.
it.
So I
That's
don't.
a great tune, though.
Yeah, man. So let's give it up for Tony Peebles, man. That was a great freaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I said I'm gonna just give it up to Tony Peebles because he's gonna introduce the next tune
Oh.
and yeah, it's his.
All right, well, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but this is Without a Song, made famous by a lot of people. It's a great tune.
Yeah,
So,
man.
you know, Joe Henderson has a great version of it on his big band album. We're gonna do a little more traditional, like the Sonny Rollins version. But anyway, everyone has a version of this, and this is ours.
Yeah. A lot of E flat.
1, 2.
Man,
All right.
man, all right. Rough, 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 rough.
You're good, man.
Oh man, you know not playing for such a long time, you feel like so rusty. At least for me, I mean I've been shedding and stuff, but still, it's not the same as playing a gig, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you know.
When was the last time you had a show? When was the
Oh
last gig?
gosh, let's see. Well, we sheltered in place in March, right?
Yeah.
So it was in March, like maybe like beginning of March. So you know, it's been a long time.
2 months. Over 2 months.
Yeah,
Wow, man.
yeah, and it's just yeah. But anyways,
I like this question. When was your last gig? Do you remember where you were? You heard you weren't gonna have that gig?
Before.
do you remember?
I do remember because the singer who was on the gig, the lovely Leland Kane, who's been here lots of times.
Oh, yeah.
Singing, it was her gig, and she was like making jokes on the mic, like, "All right, it was our last gig for 2020, everybody," or something like that.
Oh
you know?
yeah, yeah.
And we were all laughing because it still seemed impossible that we just would not play any gigs for such a long time. But here we are.
Yeah.
Very possible.
How about you, Isaac?
My last gig was the session you were talking about at
oh shit.
Artichoke.
Yeah, at Artichoke. I
Yeah.
know the name. Used to be at this other place, but it's been at Artichoke Pizza for a little while.
The place that shall not be named.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
it was Almond and Oak, and that was great.
yeah.
Before that, it was Penrose, and that was great.
Yeah. So, been a bunch of years getting to play that gig, which has been great. Yeah, I remember we were playing our hearts out because it was like, I don't know when I'm gonna get to do this again. So all the normal things were like, oh, I've been practicing this, but is it the right time to use it, or am I playing too loud, or what do people think of me? Blah blah blah. All that was kind of out the window. It was just like, angry jazz. It was great. Wish I could bring that to all the gigs.
You can. Do it.
I can bring that to all the gigs. Hear that, internet?
Angry Isaac's coming out.
Yeah. Roar! Roar, I say.
So I gotta say, now I'm thinking about it. Like I think like a week later, I think Isaac and me and this great tenor player named Lyle Link, I think we were gonna play together at Stritch because Tony couldn't make the hit or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And so we were gonna actually do this hit, and so I was like, man, I wonder if it's gonna happen. You know, like I'm like, I don't think so. You know, because we're gonna do this gig and all this crazy stuff's happening, and it didn't happen. You know, so you know, it's been like a great thing because I've been home and with my daughter. She's actually watching right now. My wife is watching too. So hey, Bonnie and Cadence, hope you guys are enjoying the set. These guys are killing it, and we have
You're
two.
killing it.
Oh man, shit. We have a couple of one last tune for this set. So we're gonna do this tune that's one of mine, and then we're gonna take a little break. Yeah. All right, let's do it.
Which one? is
Trace
it?
ritmo.
Yes, sir.
Tres.
No, you're on it. Let's do it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just wanted to do. We're gonna take a little short break. Again, this is Tony Peebles on the saxophone. The wonderful Isaac Schwartz on the drums. Another shout out to Jay and Roger at Mr. Tipples. Thank you so much. And of course, Mark and Mariana with the Gardenia Society. Thank you so much for all you guys have done today. We're going to take a short little break, and we've got another set of music. So we're going to reconvene and relax, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, man.
Right. Oh.
Hi guys, welcome back to Jazz Night at Mr. Tipples. I'm Roger, and we're going to be just taking a quick cocktail break while the musicians have a little rest. I hope everybody's enjoying the show, and thank you so much for tuning in. So this is one of our signature drinks that we make here at Mr. Tipples. It's called the Smoke and Ash, and so it's kind of a play on a mezcal old-fashioned. Basically includes bitters, mezcal, punti mez, and Cointreau. It was actually created here by one of the owners and was the opening beverage director here named Chase. And so we really appreciate his contributions, and we're going to be hopefully doing him proud with the creation that we make here today. And this one is going to be poured into something called a Nick and Nora glass. Now, I've had some questions about what exactly a Nick and Nora is, where the name comes from, and it is kind of an interesting story. There was an author named Dashiell Hammond who created a series called The Thin Man. It's basically a detective series. It's the same author who did The Maltese Falcon, actually. And this one got turned into a movie. And it also was eventually turned into a stage play, a musical, a radio series, basically every media that you could possibly imagine. But the movie was super, super popular back in the 1930s. And at the time, for glassware for bars, there was a bit of a gap in the market. The martini glass was not created yet. And so most drinks were served in some sort of either wine glass or a non-stemware glass, which really weren't ideal for cocktails like a Manhattan. And so there was this need for a smaller glass that would allow you to have a drink that stayed cold the entire time you drank it, and then you could finish it cold and get a new one. At the same time, this movie was out and super, super popular, and they had actually commissioned a special glass to be made for it, for the main characters to drink out of. The main characters were Nick, the detective, and Nora, his wife. And they got into all sort of booze-filled hijinks, and so the glass became very popular and started to be asked for at bars. Bars started ordering it, and now it is a staple across almost any cocktail bar that you would go into. Now, of course, the coupe and martini glass are a little bit better known and a little more widely available, but the Nick and Nora still occupies a special place in the hearts of any bar that really appreciates that sort of pre-prohibition style of drinking and bartending. So this one is several ingredients, but it's not super complicated. What you're going to need is your Peychaud's bitters and Angostura bitters. Now, Peychaud's bitters have a nice anise and licorice flavor to them, and Angostura bitters have more of kind of a cinnamon flavor to them, but both add a lot of depth and complexity to your drinks, and a little bit goes a long way, as is true of any bitters that you're going to be using. So in this case, we're going to be doing just 2 dashes of each. Then, now of course, the amount that a dash is does vary a little bit depending on which sort of shaker or rather dasher you're going to be using. So in this case, really 2 dashes is more like 2.5 dashes. But if you're just using the standard bottle itself, it's just 2 full dashes. Then we're going to be doing our mezcal. Now you want to use a nice unaged mezcal, but you are really looking for that nice smoky flavor that you're going to get out of it. And we're just going to be doing 1.5 ounces of that. Now we're going to be going to the punti mez. Now punti mez it's a vermouth, and in Italian it basically translates to 1.5. And what it is it's essentially 1 part classic vermouth and then a half part of a quinoa liqueur that's pretty bitter. So you can think of it sort of as almost 1 bottle that combines the flavors of vermouth and Campari. It's definitely not as bitter as Campari, but it's also not quite as just straight sweet as a vermouth would be. Adds a lot of complexity to your drink. So we're going to be using 1 ounce of that. Now this is pretty strong. You'll see a lot of recipes that call for it do call for less, but we think that it really adds the appropriate degree of depth to this drink. Because the other ingredient that we're going to be using is a lot more straightforward in terms of the flavor. So Cointreau, which you'll see used a lot in some margaritas and things like that, is an orange liqueur. But compared to the others, it's a lot more straightforward. It's very sweet, and it has really a candied orange kind of flavor to it. You could think of like an orange candy. And so that's the amount of sort of sweetness and viscosity they're getting out of this drink. So for this one, we're just using a half ounce. And this is the only real sweetener that we have. And once again, a little bit does go a long way with that. And Cointreau interacts really, really nicely with mezcal or tequila, any agave-based spirit. So we've got our ice set aside here that we allowed to temper a little bit in some room temperature air. That way it doesn't just crack apart when we add it to the mixing glass. And as always, you are going to want to use a lot of ice. You really want to kind of fill your glass up. Because as you'll see when we start stirring, once it starts diluting down, the ice is really going to get immersed into the liquid a little more. So while it might look like it's kind of too much ice, trust me, when you start stirring it, you'll see. And so we're going to stir for about 30 seconds, or about 30 full rotations. And while you're stirring, if you do have a bar spoon, which I definitely recommend getting if you really want to kind of up your cocktail game, you're going to be kind of spinning it between your fingers as you go. And that really just helps push the ice through the liquid a little more and get the amount of cooling and dilution that you want. Stir kind of vigorously. And you'll know that you're done. You want to use a little bit of a thicker mixing glass. You know, the mileage may vary a little bit on that, but in general, you want something that's not going to immediately change temperature, because you can actually use the outside of the glass as a measurement for really how cold the liquid is inside. And once that outside of the glass is very cold to the touch, you know, not necessarily ice cold, but very noticeably cold, that's how you know that the temperature inside is correct. And you're definitely better off over stirring as opposed to under stirring. You really want it nice and cool. All right. Now that we're there, just going to go ahead and add it to our glass with our julep strainer. It should get you a nice fill line just below the rim of the glass. Perfect. And then as a garnish, take an orange, get a nice thick peel. You don't want to dig into the fruit too much, so you don't want all that bitter pith in there. But you need the peel in order to get those nice oils. So you're going to take the shiny side, face it down over the glass, squeeze it out, and you'll actually be able to see the oil sitting and floating on top, and that's exactly what you want. Then just run it around the rim of the glass. So that way when you press your lips to it, you're still getting all that oil, and just drop it right in. There you have it, the smoke and ash. Cheers.
Hey, well, Isaac is like tying his mask. We're gonna do this next tune called "Just in Time."
I'm ready.
Oh man,
Just in time.
just in time.
I'm ready.
All right. Well, we are back. We're glad you guys are here joining us. That first set was our warm-up set for 2021, and this is our real set. All right. So here we go. give it up for Tony Peebles on the saxophone, please. All right. Isaac Schwartz on the drums. And the mask. I'm yours truly, Brian Ho, on the organ. Man, thank you so much. I want to take this time, if you weren't here the first set, to thank these wonderful people that are supporting us tonight. First off, Mark with the Gardenia Society. He's out here in the audience, and Mariana is out here in the audience as well too. Oh my gosh, sorry, I just talked into the mic the right way, so I all right, they kept going up, up, up. I thought he meant, play better. But yeah, exactly. Shit. All right. We are streaming. But I just wanted to say thank you to Mark and Mariana for supporting us tonight, and of course Jay and Roger, who are here from Mr. Tipples, and it's just such a great place to play, even if it's 4 people in the audience, or if it's a usual full.
Standard.
Yeah.
Not for Mr. Tipples, but most shows.
Yeah, but so that first tune we just played was called "Just in Time." Man, my time was all over the place, but I guess 7/4 time. Yeah, it's got to be all
I'm not
over.
here to deconstruct what happened. It's a live stream.
So we're gonna do this next tune we're gonna play is called 12's It. This tune is we've had a lot of fallen soldiers or fallen jazz musicians over the last few months, and one of them was Ellis Marsalis, who is the father of both Wynton and Branford, and amongst tons of other really great musicians. And this is one of my favorite tunes that I like to play. It's called 12's It. We're gonna have Isaac set it up a little bit, and then we'll come in. Yeah, man. Woo! 12 zit. All right.
I think they should know that it's not 12 zits like on your face. It's 12 is it.
Okay.
It's a contraction.
It's a contraction.
Yeah.
That's right. Apostrophe yes.
Wait, it's a
Conjunction junction.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't want contraction.
So that's what these masks do, man. If you got any zits, you know, it's just kind of like it's a beacon, man.
You're breathing on yourself.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12 zit. I love that tune. It's deceptively difficult. You got because you gotta. Anyways, so this on my next on my list it says Isaac's tune. So Isaac's gonna talk about his tune and then go straight in on it
Okay. Cool.
and why he picked it.
Oh,
Why he picked it.
that's the adapter that probably makes this work. Am I happening? Is there? Okay, sweet. Hey, virtual world. So we're gonna play 502 Blues. I always thought it was a Wayne Shorter tune. It's not a Wayne Shorter tune. Who actually wrote this tune?
According to this random sheet of music, James Rolls.
James Rolls wrote it. I was just testing Tony over there. You passed.
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, he passed the reading test. And 502 Blues is actually the code for drinking and driving.
Is it really?
Yep. But anyway, it's a classic. Yep. I mean,
Little tidbit.
Yeah.
No, it says it's 502 Blues and then brackets drinking and driving blues, right?
Well, no, but 502 is like the code for someone is drinking and driving.
Yeah.
So,
Record, I think it says.
but anyway, which I don't recommend. Don't do that.
Do as Wayne Shorter does. Not, I mean, says, not
Just
the song.
live like Wayne Shorter, but don't drink and drive. Anyway, it's a beautiful tune. It's off of Adam's Apple, which one of his classic albums, and he's the man. And basically anything he does is gold to me. So here we go. I'm gonna do some kind of improvised nugget, and then we're gonna go into 502 Blues.
Yeah, man. We're just getting too comfortable up here, you know.
I know.
It's all mezcal Negroni, man.
Yeah, can't take you anywhere, man.
Where are we? Okay.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you guys have you seen Wayne live?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, what an he's amazing, and what a band. You know, like Daniello and Patitucci and Brian Blade. That some guy named Brian Blade, but yeah, man. So actually, I'm good friends with Tom Patitucci.
T-Pat.
T-Pat, and
You call him T-Pat, you know.
yeah, man. So he's a really really nice guy. He plays guitar. So we believe it or not, it's getting to that time, to the end of the night. We're going a little over, but I just love playing with these guys. Now I wish we played 8 to 10, because then maybe I would have played better the first set. But anyways, so we're going to play this tune called It's Such a Good Feeling. I know, I'm just going to beat myself up. over it. Yeah.
We are all beat down enough. You don't have to beat yourself. That's what I'm saying, man.
I was, you know,
I love you, Brian.
I've been doing this backstory thing on every tune, but I'm just gonna do it. I've got to do it because my little daughter, she actually has this little Mr. Rogers book, and so we listen to this CD all the time. So she listens. She likes all the song. It's funny because they have this guy called Daniel Tiger, who's not Mr. Rogers, and he's animated because they don't, I guess it appeases to the little kids, but so she doesn't really know Mr. Rogers yet, but she will. And this tune is called "It's Such a Good Feeling," and then we have one last tune. So, anyways, here we go. I'll just do A flat, sus pedal, and then, you can vamp to your heart's content, and then we'll start.
Such a good feeling.
Yeah.
Good
Thank
feeling.
you.
I
Last tune.
got a good feeling.
All right. Let's do it.
The Bill tune?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So another fallen soldier. I know he didn't fall to COVID. Bill Withers, unfortunately, passed away. Just a freaking. Yeah. But he left behind some great music, and this has always been one of my favorites. And we're gonna put our own little spin on it, and we'll see where it goes. Here we go. Just like Tony planned it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. All right. Tony Peebles on the saxophone.
Thank you. Yeah.
Isaac Schwartz on the drums.
Isaac.
Yeah. Yours truly, Brian Hill on the organ.
Brian.
Later, I'll be posting all my tire pictures for you guys to see what craziness. Maybe I'll put it up really quick just to show you guys all the craziness. But thanks again to Mark with the Gardenia Society and Mariana.
So you're overlaying like proper crowd noise with all this.
Yeah.
Of course.
We fix it all in post.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
40,000 or so.
And then, of course,
CGI roses right now.
and Roger and Jay over here and Mr. Tipples. Thank you so much. We had a great night, and we hope to see you guys very soon. All right, thank you.
Facebook.
Good night, Facebook and Twitch and YouTube. All right. It'll be all cut up, so all my good